everyone, it's Angie, your Maker Maven, and this is Makerspace Assemble, Make Your Own Auryn. Now, if you don't know what an Auryn is the pendant that is in the Never Ending Story, which is a wonderful book that we have here at the library, and we also have the video if you want to check those out and see that, in your homes. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with this first. The Auryn, How to Make Your Auryn, was one of the first projects that we did from PPL where you could pick up your materials from curbside pickup. So if you picked up one of these bags or you called in and you said you wanted one, inside what you're going to find is some air dry clay and a toothpick. And you're also going to find your part of the necklace that you're going to use later on. And now I'm going to show you some of the things that you're going to need from your house that you might have at home. Okay, now I've shown you some of the things that you might get from our curbside bag, but now here's some of the things that you might need from your own home when we start working on some of the painting. So you're going to need your little paint tray. I have some paint brushes and some paper towels. I also have a glass of water so that I can rinse those out. And I'm going to be painting with some silver and gold and silver, how about that? And some opal and brown colors today, because in the movie, the Auryn is actually kind of a goldish, silverish kind of pendant. So that's what I'm going to work with. If you do not have these colors, that's okay. You can paint it whatever color you want. It's completely up to you. And also I have some toothpicks. Now you might have seen in your bag that you have a toothpick in there already. So we put you a toothpick in there, and you're going to use that when you start designing your Auryn after you get it shaped. Now we're going to get rolling on some of this clay, and we're going to get it shaped how we want it. I am super excited to make the Auryn necklace. I have been a fan of the Never Ending Story for a long, long time. I watched it as a kid, and now we get to make our own. In your baggies that you got from curbside pickup, there's a piece of air dry clay. And what I want you to do is kind of rip that in half. And you're going to work on one section at a time, one piece at a time. Now, you can either make a bigger Auryn or you can make a smaller Auryn. And it all depends on how much you roll out your dough and you shape it. So I'm actually going to take maybe a little bit less than this. And I'm going to start just kind of rolling it in my hand a little bit. And then I'm going to roll it out like this, starting in the middle and pushing my way out. And you want to try and keep it like that so that you can keep it as even as possible. You want it to be a little bit longer because you want to be able to make the loops that are in the Auryn necklace when you wrap the two snakes around each other. Because that's ultimately what you're going to be making is two snakes that is kind of like, I think it's an Ouroboros. And it's a snake eating another snake's tail. So we're going to keep doing this. Now, that's a pretty good width. All right, so we have one done. Now, we're going to start with the other one. And I'm going to take about the same bit off that I did of the other one. And I'm going to just start it in my hands. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did with that one. I'm going to start in the middle and just work my way out. Now remember, you can make it as skinny as you want or as fat as you want, depending on how big you want your pendant to be. This one looks like it needs a little help here. Let's work on it a little bit more. Okay. Now, we have both of these pieces of clay. They're about the same size. Now what we want to do is we want to start shaping them. Now the Auryn is very classic in its shape. It's got a snake head, which we're going to make over here, and I'm going to start shaping that. Now you can make your snake head as big as you want or as small as you want, but I'm going to start making it. So I'm going to push down a little bit here and kind of give it a little bit more of a snake head right there. And then what I've noticed, and what was easiest for me when I was making this, was that I just made a loop, just like that. Now here's the part that you might want to remember when you're putting these together. This air dry clay it doesn't necessarily stick together as well as you might think it would. If you've ever worked with clay before, you know that sometimes you have to make some serrations where you want your pieces to be connected. So that's what I'm doing. I'm making little marks right there with your toothpick that we've given you in curbside. And then what I'm doing is I'm just kind of pressing it on there so that it stays. Now I'm going to roll out this a little bit more. Now, the back of the snake actually comes to a point. So we want to kind of skinny that out a little bit because this is the part that is going to go into the other snake's mouth. So you want to skinny that out just a little bit so that you can stick it in the other snake's mouth. So here's my other snake, okay? And he's going to be going the opposite way. So I'm going to do kind of the same thing with him that I did with the front one. I'm going to start making his face, and I pinch right here. So I've got him right there, and I've kind of pressed him out in the front. So he's got a head. All right. Now, I'm going to take him and I'm going to do the same thing, except with the tail, I'm actually going to put it in the hole and wrap it around like that. And I don't know if you can see it from the top, but what I've done is I've made 2 loops. Now, because you have this here, you have to make some serrations too, so that it'll stick together and press those together. You're going to make them over here too and press them together. And while I'm here, I'm going to start making this a little bit longer. So I'm going to start squeezing it out to get it a little point to it. Now here's the part where I'm looking at it and it looks like my tail might be a little bit too long. All right. So what you can do to adjust that is just take off some of your clay. So then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to start pinching it again to make it long. And over here, this one looks a little bit longer too. So I'm just going to take some of it off and then I'm going to start pinching it so that it comes to a point too. Now, here comes your tricky part, okay? The snake's head, you've got to find a way, using your toothpick, to make a hole in it big enough for the tail to fit in. So what I'm doing is I've taken my toothpick, I've put it in the top where the snake's mouth would be, and then I'm putting the clay right in its mouth, just like that. And I'm going to repeat that and do it the same over here. And I'm kind of squishing the mouth on the clay. So there I have my Auryn. Now, if you don't like the shape of it, you want to make it a little bit more round, that's fine, you can. And then what I'm going to do after I've got the Auryn all the way made, I'm going to go in and I'm going to start putting the little details on it. So I'm going to make some little eyes on the snake. I'm going to make his little nose. You can go in and you can give him some more details if you want. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to repeat it over here for this snake. And make little nose marks. And this is what your toothpick is for too. So this is a part where you can go through, and now I made a couple different scales for my snake when I did it. So I went in and I started making little V's. Now you're going to get some of the air dry clay to come off, and that's okay. It'll just come off. And as your snake dries, you can actually rub more of those off. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going in and I'm just making some little designs on the snake to give it some more definition. Now remember, you don't have to make your Auryn as big as this. You can make it smaller if you want. Just know that the smaller you get, the easier it is for it to kind of break. I've done a few of these already, and if you don't serrate or make those lines underneath your pieces and stick them together really well, then it'll try and come apart on you. So this part right here, I'm just doing some lines on him. Now, once you have all of this done, you want to put it in a sunny place or somewhere where it's not going to be touched for at least 2 days. You want to let it completely dry. And when you do let it completely dry, let me see if I can move this really quickly. When you do let it completely dry, it'll look something like this right here. So this is an Auryn that I've already made prior, and I let it dry for 2 days. And now I'm going to start painting. Now, if you look at the Auryn in the movies and in the book, it's got like a goldish and a silverish tone to it. So those are the colors that I'm going to be using today. And if you don't have these colors and you really want to keep it as authentic as you can go to the nearest craft store and you can pick those up. Looks like this one needs to be shaken up a little bit. You can pick up these colors for, not too much money. Let's see if I'll give you some of that color. Give me a little bit. Oh. And I also picked just a little bit of a brown because I want to be able to get in there on some of those scales. And I might do just a little bit of a wash on it just to see what it looks like. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm just going to get some brown on this. I just want to fill in some of the V's just to give it a little bit more depth. So I'm going in on some of the design that I made and I'm just putting in just a touch of brown. And I'm actually going to do that over here on some of his stripes. Now he's got eyes on him too. If you want to, you can pick like whatever color you want. Go in afterwards and add, when you add your finishing touches, you can add some color to his eyes if you want. I'm going to bring in my water right here. Let me get my other one. Now I got another brush, and I think for this side I'm going to make him gold. So I'm just going to go over him with some gold. Now the clay is going to suck up your paint really quickly. So if you're trying to do some kind of like gradients on it, or if you want to try and blend your colors, you're going to have to work fairly quickly with the clay. So that's what the silver part is kind of looking like right now. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a little bit of the silver on the other side. And I know you might be saying, but Angie, it's all the way gold. Yeah, it is. I'm going to do some silver on mine, but it does have some like silverish hues in it. So if I don't like it, I'll go back in and I'll repaint it and it'll be just fine. So now I did go back and I did put some gold back in there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back in, and I know that we had a little bit of this like opalescence kind of color going on. For some reason it didn't really kind of take, but I'm going to add some of it to the other side of the snake, kind of give it kind of a little bit of juxtaposition on that little, contrast going on. I think it's almost there. The only other thing is going to be the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry. And then when we come back, hopefully the other side will be done and we can show you what it looks like put all together. We've went ahead and we've added the necklace that came with it. And here you go. Here is your Auryn necklace that you can make from air dry clay and paint that you have at home, and just a little necklace. That was fun. Didn't take too long. And next time, guys, make sure that you watch Makerspace Assemble. We're going to be doing ancient Greek faux stained glass, and that's going to be a fun time too. Until then, I'll see you later. Bye.